Hello and welcome guys to the second part of shares and dividends. In this video, we will solve sums based on this particular chapter. In the first part, we explained the basics and the concepts of shares and dividends. If you haven't watched that video yet, do watch it. The link to that video will be in your top right corner. Now, if you like this video, do hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel EduCeption if you haven't subscribed yet, and share this video with all your friends. Let's begin with the sums. First of all, we have a man invested rupees 7500 on shares of face value rupees 10 at rupees 5 premium. You have to find the number of shares he bought. Also, after a year, he received rupees 400 as a dividend on his shares. You have to find the dividend percent. This is a very easy sum. First, let's check out the face value and the market value. We can see in the question it is stated face value rupees 10. So face value is equal to rupees 10. Now face value and nominal value are the same things. Then we can see that the shares are selling at a premium of rupees 5. So I told you in the previous video, whenever we have a premium, to get the market value, we add the value of the premium to the nominal value or the face value. So we have the face value is equal to rupees 10 here. The market value will be equal to the face value, which is rupees 10, plus the premium, which is rupees 5. That means rupees 15. So we get the face value rupees 10 and the market value rupees 15. Now first of all, we have to calculate the number of shares he bought. We also have the total money invested, which is rupees 7500. So I'll write that also. Total investment is equal to rupees 7500. That is 7500. Now we had a formula. Total investment is equal to number of shares n into the market value mv. Now we have to calculate this. We know the value of the total investment and we know the value of market value. So let's calculate this. Therefore, n, that is number of shares, will equal total investment divided by the market value of the shares. So we have 7500 divided by the market value, which is rupees 15. So this will come out to be 500 shares. Okay, so the man bought 500 shares. This is your first answer. Now second, we have also after a year he received rupees 400 as a dividend on his shares. You have to find the dividend percent. Let's write the dividend. We have the dividend is equal to rupees 400. Okay, now we know the formula of dividend. Dividend is equal to number of shares n into dividend percent divided by 100 into the nominal value or face value of the shares. So we know the value of dividend, we know the number of shares that we calculated, we have to calculate the dividend percent, and we know the face value. Okay, therefore dividend percent is equal to dividend into 100 divided by the number of shares n into the face value, which will equal to how much? The dividend is 400 into 100, the number of shares is 500 that we calculated, and the face value is rupees 10. So this will go out, this will go out, and 5 2s are 10. So we have the answer as 8%. Okay, so we get the dividend percent as 8%. This was an easy sum. Now we will move on to the next sum. Number 2. Mr. Parekh invested rupees 60,000 on rupees 100 shares at 20% premium, paying 8% dividend. You have to find the annual dividend. Let's first write all the things that are given. We have the total money invested is equal to rupees 60,000. Then we have been given the nominal value, rupees 100 shares. So the nominal value is rupees 100. Then we have the dividend percent, 8% is equal to 8%. Now first we have to calculate the market value of each share. we have been given that these shares are selling at 20% premium. When a percentage is given, how do we calculate the market value? It's very easy. Market value is equal to the nominal value plus 20% of the nominal value. So we will have 100 plus 20, that is rupees 120. So in case of premium, if a percentage is given, we add the percentage to the nominal value, and in case of discount, we will deduct that percentage of nominal value to get the market value. It's very simple. I hope you understand this. So we get the market value. Now we will calculate the number of shares, because we have to calculate the annual dividend. So number of shares N will be equal to total money invested divided by the market value. So total money invested is rupees 60,000. The market value is rupees 120 that we calculated. So we will get 500. So the number of shares bought is 500. Now okay, we can simply calculate the dividend. The dividend will be equal to number of shares N into dividend percent divided by 100 into the nominal value NV. Number of shares we calculated 500. The dividend percent is 8% divided by 100 into the nominal value, which is 100. So we have 500 into 8, which is rupees 4,000. So this is your answer. The dividend is rupees 4,000. Number 3. Rohit invested rupees 9,600 on rupees 100 shares at rupees 20 premium, paying 8% dividend. Rohit sold the shares when the price rose to rupees 160. He invested the proceeds excluding dividend in 10% rupees 50 shares at rupees 40. You have to find number 1 the original number of shares, number 2 the sale proceeds, number 3 new number of shares, and number 4 change in the 2 dividends. Now in this question we can see that there are 2 transactions occurring. First transaction, when he invests rupees 9,600 on rupees 100 shares at rupees 20 premium, and second, when he invests the proceeds in 10% rupees 50 shares at rupees 40. Keeping in mind the 2 transactions, we solve the question. Okay, first of all we have to calculate the original number of shares. Okay, that means it is referring to the first transaction. In the first transaction, the total invested money is equal to rupees 9,600. The nominal value is rupees 100. So NV is equal to rupees 100, and the shares are being selling at rupees 20 premium. That means the market value will be equal to 100 plus 20, which is equal to rupees 120. Now we know the money invested and the market value, so we can calculate the number of shares. Number of shares N is equal to money invested divided by the market value, which is equal to 9600 divided by 120. So we get it as 80. So the number of shares originally bought is 80. Number 2, we have to calculate the sale proceeds. Sale proceeds means the amount that Rohit earns after he sells the shares that he holds. So in the question, Rohit sold the shares when the price rose to rupees 160. Okay, so now the market value has risen to rupees 160. We calculated the number of shares 80. N is equal to 80. So he sold 80 number of shares at rupees 160. So the total sale proceeds will be equal to 160 into 80, which is equal to rupees 12800. So which is equal to rupees 12,800. This is your second answer. Number 3, we have to calculate the new number of shares. That means it is now referring to the second transaction. So number 3, new number of shares N dash. So we can see that he invested the proceeds excluding dividend in 10% rupees 50 shares at rupees 40. So the market value in the second transaction is rupees 40. So we have market value is equal to rupees 40, and we have already calculated the total sale proceeds, which is 128,000. So number of shares is equal to the sale proceeds, which is 12,800, divided by the market value, which is 40. So how much do we get? It's 320. So 320 is the new number of shares. And finally, we have to calculate the change in the two dividends. So first, let's calculate the dividend of the original transaction. So say original dividend. This is equal to number of shares n into dividend percent divided by 100 into the nominal value. Number of shares originally was 80. The dividend percent was 8%. And the nominal value was 100. So we have 640. So rupees 640 was the original dividend. Now we will find the new dividend for the second transaction. So new dividend is equal to number of shares n dash into dividend percent divided by 100 into the NV. So n dash we calculated 320. The new dividend percent is 10%. And the new nominal value is 50 rupees. So 2s are and 160. So rupees 1600, rupees 1600. So change in dividend will be equal to rupees 1600 minus 640, which is equal to rupees 960. It increases because this dividend, the new dividend, is higher than the original dividend. So we can see that the change is rupees 960 and it increases. So this was the whole question. Number 4. Raju invests a sum of money in rupees 50 shares, paying 15% dividend quoted at 20% premium. If his dividend is rupees 600, you have to calculate number 1, the market value of a share, number 2, number of shares, number 3, total investment, and number 4, rate of return. Let's check the question. We have rupees 50 shares. Okay, that means we get the nominal value of each share as rupees 50. I'll write it down. Nominal value is equal to rupees 50. First of all, we have to calculate the market value of a share. Now, I told you in the previous questions, when the premium and discount is given in percentage, how do we calculate the market value? So market value will be equal to the nominal value plus 20% of the nominal value. So 2s are 10. So we get the market value as rupees 60. So we have our first answer. Now second, we have to calculate the number of shares. Now we know the formula, money invested is equal to number of shares n into the market value mv. But over here, we do not have the money invested in the question. So what do we do in that case? In that case, we seek other things in the question using which we can find number of shares. We have another formula, which is number of shares n is equal to total dividend divided by dividend on one share. We see in the question we have the total dividend given, which is rupees 600, and we can calculate dividend on one share as we have the dividend percent given and the nominal value of each share. Let's calculate it. We know the formula of dividend, which is number of shares. Over here it will be 1 into dividend percent divided by 100, which is 15 by 100, into the nominal value, which is rupees 50. So 2s are, so dividend on one share is rupees 15 by 2. So we will use this formula. Number of shares n is equal to total dividend 600 divided by dividend on each share, which is 15 by 2. Therefore number of shares is equal to 600 into 2 divided by 15. This will get to 40. So we have number of shares n is equal to 80. Okay. So whenever you cannot use the formula of money invested is equal to number of shares n into the market value, you can use this particular formula, which is number of shares n is equal to total dividend divided by dividend on one share. Now we have also calculated number 2. Number 3 is total investment. Number 3, total investment. Now we have the number of shares and we have the market value. We can easily calculate it using the formula market value into number of shares. So total investment will be equal to rupees 4800, your third answer. And finally we have to calculate the rate of return. That is also very easy. We know the formula. Rate of return is equal to dividend, that means the total dividend, divided by total investment into 100%. So we have the dividend given rupees 600 divided by total investment, which we calculated 4800 into 100%. So 8, so we get 100 by 8%, which is 12.5%. Your final answer. Now we'll move on to the next sum. Moving on to number 5, we have Mr. Ram invested rupees 8,000 in 7% rupees 100 shares at rupees 80. After a year, he sold these shares at rupees 75 each and invested his proceeds including dividend in 18% rupees 25 shares at rupees 41. We have to calculate number 1 the dividend for the first year, number 2 the dividend for the second year, and number 3 the percentage increase in his return on his original investment. Like question number 3, over here also we have two transactions for the first year and transaction for the second year. In number 1 we have to calculate the dividend for the first year. Let me write it down. Number 1, dividend for first year. Okay, let's check out the question. Mr. Ram invested rupees 8,000 in 7% rupees 100 shares at rupees 80. So what do we get? We get that the total investment is equal to rupees 8,000. The dividend percent is 7%. The nominal value of each share is rupees 100 and market value of each share is rupees 80. It's straight away given over there. Now to calculate the dividend, we need number of shares, the dividend percent and the nominal value. We have the nominal value, we have the dividend percent, we need to calculate the number of shares he bought. So number of shares is equal to, we have the total investment divided by, we have the market value. So this is equal to 8,000 divided by 80, which is 100. So he bought 100 shares. Now we calculate the dividend. We know the formula for dividend, which is number of shares n 100 into dividend percent divided by 100, which is 7 divided by 100 into the nominal value, which is 100. So we get the dividend as rupees 700. So the dividend for the first year is rupees 700 and the number of shares that he bought 100. You have to keep that in mind. Okay. Now we calculate the second one, which is dividend for second year. Let's read the question. After a year, he sold the shares at rupees 75 each and invested his proceeds including dividend in 18% rupees 25 shares at rupees 41. First of all, let's calculate the sale proceeds. So sale proceeds is equal to the number of shares that he held, 100, I told you to remember it, into he sold each share at rupees 75 each. So into 75. So the total sale proceeds is rupees 7500. But this will not be his total investment because we have to include the dividend also. So the total investment will be equal to rupees 7500 plus the dividend that we calculated 700. So this will equal to rupees 8200. Now we have the total investment. Then we can see over here that the dividend percent is 18%. The nominal value is rupees 25 and the market value is rupees 41. So first we need to calculate the number of shares that he bought. So N will be equal the total investment 8200 divided by the market value, which is 41. So this will equal 200 shares. Finally, let's calculate the dividend, which will equal to number of shares 200 into the dividend percent divided by 100 into the nominal value, which is 25. So 2, which is equal to 18 into 50, which is equal to rupees 900. Okay, so the dividend for second year is equal to rupees 900. Finally, we have the third question that we need to calculate, which is the percentage increase in his return on his original investment. So number 3. Okay, what do we do over here? Read the question carefully. The percentage increase in his return on his original investment. We can see that during the second year he earns 200 rupees more than the first year, because first year the annual income was 700 and the second year the annual income per dividend was rupees 900. So let's calculate the increase in return. So increase in return is equal to rupees 900 minus 700, which is equal to rupees 200. Okay, you have to calculate the percentage increase in his return over his original investment. So his increase in return is 200. His original investment, as we can see over here, is rupees 8000. So the percentage increase in return will be equal to this 200, the increase in return, divided by his original investment, which is 8000, into 100%. Okay, this will get cancelled out. This will get cancelled out with this. 2 10s are 2 4s are 5 2. So we have 5 by 2%, which is 2.5%, which is your third answer. Okay, so guys, with the end of question 5, I'll end this video over here. Now these are the questions, these types of questions are the type of questions that you will get in your ICSE examinations. You can find many other questions like this in your books. Try to solve all of them, and if you face any problems, you can comment down below or write to us at eduception01@gmail.com. More videos on EduCeption will come very soon. Until then, stay tuned. Goodbye.